Greetings. I am your AI host, specifically chosen by Fact Fragment for clarity, precision, and engaging delivery. Welcome to Fact Fragment. Today, we're doing a deep dive into, well, a really big topic, the rise of quantum computing and what it means for cybersecurity as we know it.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. We're looking at how these new machines could basically break a lot of the encryption we use every single day.
Exactly. And for this deep dive, we've gathered insights from various research papers and key industry reports focusing on the solutions, specifically post-quantum cryptography.
It's fascinating stuff, seeing quantum computing move from pure theory to something that demands a total rethink of digital security.
Right. So you're probably hearing more about quantum computers. They promise amazing things, medicine, AI breakthroughs.
Definitely huge potential upsides.
But they also bring this potential earthquake for our online safety. So our mission today, pinpoint that threat to current encryption.
The stuff you use for banking, email, everything.
And then explore the solutions being built this world of post-quantum cryptography, or PQC.
And you might be thinking, okay, why does this matter to me?
Good question, because as more and more of our lives go digital, keeping data safe becomes fundamental. For everyone, it's about your personal info, sure, but also understanding these big tech shifts.
And if you zoom out, pretty much everything online, banking, healthcare, communications, even critical infrastructure.
It all depends on encryption working.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
a huge chunk of that security relies on what's called public key cryptography.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit. Public key crypto algorithms like RSA, ECC, they're the foundation for secure websites, secure messaging.
They really are.
Their strength comes from math problems that are just incredibly hard for normal computers to solve, like multiplying two huge prime numbers, easy.
Trivial, computationally speaking.
But finding those original primes, if you only have the product, that takes current computers, well, practically forever.
Right. And that difficulty, that's the whole basis of the security. It means someone can't easily figure out your private key, the secret bit, even if they see your public key.
It's like that mailbox analogy, isn't it? Everyone sees the public mailbox slot.
But only you have the private key to unlock it and get the mail.
But then quantum computers enter the picture. And things get very interesting. There's this algorithm from back in '94, Shor's algorithm.
Ah, yes, Peter Shor. A pivotal moment.
It showed that a powerful enough quantum computer could, theoretically, crack those hard math problems like factoring big numbers super fast, way faster than classical computers.
And that's the crux of it. Shor's algorithm specifically targets the mathematical foundations of RSA and ECC. For RSA, it finds those secret prime factors from the public key.
Once you have those, the encryption is broken. Simple as that.
Yep. And it does something similar for ECC and related problems like the discrete logarithm problems, like suddenly there's a master key for all those secure mailboxes.
So the very tools keeping your online banking safe today could become useless against a future quantum computer.
That's quite something. It really is.
Yeah.
Which naturally leads to the question, what about other types of encryption? Like symmetric encryption, AES, for example. People hear that's very secure.
That's a really important distinction. Because Shor's algorithm hits RSA and ECC directly, these asymmetric systems. Symmetric keys, like AES, are a different beast.
They are structured differently, mathematically.
But they're not totally immune, right? There's another quantum algorithm, Grover's algorithm.
Right, Grover's algorithm doesn't break it outright like Shor does for public key crypto. But it does speed up the process of trying all possible keys a brute force attack.
So like searching a huge database faster.
Exactly. It gives a significant speed up. Doesn't make it instantaneous, but it effectively cuts the security level. Think of it as roughly having the key's strength in bits. So a 128-bit AES key.
Effectively becomes like a 64-bit key against a quantum attacker.
Which isn't considered secure enough for the long term.
But the fix there is relatively simple, isn't it? Just use bigger keys.
Pretty much. Moving to AES 256, for instance, is widely seen as providing enough security margin to resist Grover's algorithm. So symmetric crypto needs attention, but it's manageable.
Okay. So the immediate, really pressing danger is still public key crypto and Shor's algorithm.
That's where the main focus is, yes.
Which brings us to this rather chilling idea. Harvest now, decrypt later. What is that, and why should people be concerned?
It's a major worry, especially for data that needs to stay secret for a long time, decades even. The idea is that attackers, governments, whoever,
Malicious actors.
right, they could intercept and just store encrypted data today, even though they can't decrypt it now.
They just hoard it.
Exactly. Hoard it, waiting for the day when they do have a powerful quantum computer. Then they can potentially go back and decrypt everything they collected.
So think about your medical records, financial data, sensitive company secrets. Encrypted now, but maybe exposed later. That's huge for governments, healthcare, finance.
Huge implications. And the scary part is, the attacker doesn't need a quantum computer now. Just the belief that one is coming is enough incentive to start harvesting data. It really ramps up the urgency for PQC.
Okay, so if the foundations are shaky, what's the solution? This is where post-quantum cryptography, PQC, steps in.
Precisely. PQC is all about creating new cryptographic algorithms. Algorithms designed from the ground up to be secure against attacks from both classical computers
As we have now.
and the quantum computers we expect in the future. The key is they rely on different mathematical problems. Problems we believe are hard even for quantum computers.
So a whole new generation of security tools built for the quantum age. And this isn't just academic, right? It's essential.
Absolutely essential.
Yeah.
We talk about a potential Q day, the moment quantum computers can break current encryption. Might be a decade away, maybe two, maybe sooner, maybe later. But the harvest now threat means we can't wait.
We need to switch before Q day hits.
Well before. To protect data that needs long-term security. And it's not just about keeping secrets, encryption. It's also digital signatures.
The things that verify software, prove identity online.
Right, and key exchange, how we set up secure connections in the first place. Both rely on that vulnerable public key math. So PQC needs to replace those functions too.
Okay, so what's in this PQC toolbox? What are the main approaches being explored?
There are several main families, each using different hard math problems. You hear about lattice-based cryptography, code-based, hash-based, isogeny-based, and multivariate cryptography.
Lattice-based seems to be getting a lot of attention. Why is that?
Well, lattices are these complex geometric structures, sort of like high-dimensional grids. Problems related to them, like finding the shortest vector or something called learning with errors, seem really tough for both classical and quantum computers.
And they seem practical.
They offer a pretty good mix of strong security and reasonable performance, good for encryption and signatures, which is probably why NIST focused heavily on them initially.
Right, NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology. They've been standardizing these, haven't they?
Exactly, a huge effort. They've already standardized ML-Chem, that's FIPS 203 for key establishment. Think of it as the secure handshake.
Based on Crystal's Kuiper, I think?
That's the one. And MLDSA, FIPS 204 for digital signatures, based on Crystal's dilithium. These are lattice-based and considered, well, foundational for the PQC transition. They perform relatively well, key sizes are manageable, generally practical.
Okay, what about code-based? You mentioned that's an older idea.
Yeah, code-based crypto, like the McLeese system, goes way back. It relies on the difficulty of decoding error-correcting codes. It's considered very secure against quantum attacks.
But the downside?
Historically, very large public keys.
Yeah.
That could be a practical problem for some applications, storage, transmission bandwidth.
Makes sense. And hash-based. That sounds fundamental.
It is. It builds directly on the security of cryptographic hash functions, things like SHA-256. We assume hash functions are one-way and collision-resistant.
Meaning it's easy to hash something, but hard to reverse it or find two things that hash to the same value.
Exactly. And since we don't have good quantum algorithms to break those properties, hash-based signatures are considered quantum-resistant. NIST standardized one called SLH-DSA, or SINS-FIN-CS+, as FIPS 205.
What are they good for?
Really strong integrity guarantees.
Yeah.
Think blockchain, software signing. The trade-offs can be larger signature sizes sometimes, and maybe slower signing operations compared to others.
And quickly, the other two, isogeny-based and multivariate, where do they stand?
Isogeny-based crypto uses math on elliptic curves. It looked promising, maybe smaller keys. But some big schemes, like SIGH, were broken quite spectacularly.
Ouch.
Yeah. Research continues, but it's faced setbacks. Multivariate crypto uses systems of polynomial equations. Again, some schemes like Rainbow showed promise for signatures, but also ran into security issues and weren't standardized by NIST. So more research needed there, less mature than lattice or hash-based right now.
So it really sounds like that NIST standardization process has been absolutely vital, driving things forward.
Immensely important. They started way back in 2016, knowing this threat was coming. It's been this global multi-year evaluation, analyzing security, performance, practicality.
To give everyone confidence in the algorithm.
Exactly. To provide a suite of reliable, quantum-resistant tools so organizations and eventually you can make the switch with some assurance.
And we've seen major progress recently.
Definitely. Those first standards, FIPS S203, 204, 205, published in 2024, were a huge milestone. Real official PQC tools ready for implementation.
And they didn't stop there.
Nope. Just this year, March 2025, they picked a fifth algorithm, HQC homomorphic quasi-cyclic. It's another key encapsulation method, like ML-Chem, but based on different math, error-correcting codes this time.
So diversity, an alternative just in case.
Precisely. It gives options, adds resilience. And they're also looking to finalize another signature algorithm, FNDSA, soon. So the toolkit is growing.
Okay, the standards are emerging. What about timelines? When do organizations actually need to make this switch? When will we see it?
Timelines are starting to get serious. The U.S. government, for its national security systems, wants PQC preferred from 2025, mandatory by the early 2030s. There's a broader federal deadline of 2035.
And other countries?
The UK's NCSC has similar goals. NIST itself recommends phasing out the old crypto by 2030, full PQC by 2035. The general vibe is, start now, the transition will take the next decade, roughly.
It sounds like a massive job.
Yeah.
What are the big challenges for companies, governments, maybe even for us as users?
It is a massive job. Technically, PQC algorithms can be, well, slower sometimes than what we use now. Not always, but it's a factor.
Performance hits.
Potentially, yeah. And keys and signatures can be bigger for some PQC schemes. How to pack storage, network traffic, plus just implementing new crypto correctly is hard. Requires expertise, testing.
Making sure it talks to older systems too. Interoperability.
Huge challenge. Integrating smoothly with legacy infrastructure is always tricky.
And beyond the tech, organizational hurdles.
Oh, yeah. Cost, for one. Upgrading everything. And many organizations, honestly, might not even know everywhere they're using the old vulnerable crypto. Just doing that inventory is a big first step.
Finding all the places RSA or ECC are hiding.
Right. Then coordinating with vendors, making sure software and hardware are PQC ready, training people, building that expertise, and just figuring out what to upgrade first. Prioritization.
It really highlights the need for this crypto agility idea, doesn't it?
Absolutely critical. Crypto agility means designing systems so you can swap out algorithms easily without ripping everything apart.
So you can adapt if a new standard comes along, or, heaven forbid, a vulnerability is found in a PQC algorithm later.
Exactly. Flexibility is key because this landscape will keep evolving.
Given all this, which sectors are feeling the heat the most? Where's the pressure really on to adopt PQC?
Well, finance is a big one. Protecting transactions, long-term records, healthcare too sensitive patient data, connected devices.
Government, obviously. National security, classified data.
Absolutely. Huge urgency there. And telecommunications, the backbone of so much digital communication, they're all heavily impacted.
Are we seeing adoption start already?
We are, yeah. Especially in those high-risk areas like defense, finance. Tech giants are starting to build the NIST standards into products. Open source projects are crucial too, providing implementations.
Quantum-resistant VPNs, things like that.
Starting to emerge, yes. And blockchain is exploring PQC too, so the wheels are definitely turning, even with the challenges.
So looking ahead, what does PQC mean for cybersecurity long term?
Fundamentally, it's about maintaining trust online. Protecting against harvest now, decrypt later, ensuring data stays confidential for decades. It's becoming the new baseline.
But not a silver bullet, presumably?
No, security is never static.
Yeah.
New attacks might emerge, even against PQC eventually. So ongoing research, vigilance, that remains crucial. Crypto agility helps there too.
And PQC might be part of a bigger picture, things like quantum key distribution.
Potentially, yeah. QKD has different properties, might fit niche high security uses. The future is likely layered security PQC plus other tech, plus good basic security hygiene. Collaboration between researchers, industry, government is vital.
This has been incredibly insightful, a really crucial topic. It's clear quantum computing is a major challenge, but PQC offers a necessary, promising way forward.
It really shows how breakthroughs in one area, quantum physics, can force fundamental changes in another, like cybersecurity. Everything's connected.
Okay, so let's quickly recap the main takeaways for everyone listening. First, quantum computers seriously threaten today's public key crypto like RSA, thanks to Shor's algorithm.
While symmetric crypto like AES is less vulnerable, you'll likely need bigger keys like AES 256.
The harvest now, decrypt later threat makes acting now really important.
In post-quantum cryptography, PQC is the solution new algorithms based on quantum-resistant math. Key types include lattice, code, hash, isogeny, and multivariate.
NIST is leading the standardization. FIPS 203 ML-Chem, 204 ML-DSA, 205 SLH-DSA are approved. HQC was just selected too.
Timelines point towards transition over the next decade, aiming for completion around 2030, 2035.
Big challenges exist, technical ones like performance, key sizes, and organizational ones like cost and expertise.
Key sectors like finance, healthcare, government, and telecom are heavily impacted and starting to move.
And finally, crypto agility is absolutely essential for managing this transition smoothly.
Which leaves us with something to think about. Quantum computing keeps advancing, right? Cybersecurity will keep changing. PQC is vital, yes, but what else might be coming? What unforeseen challenges or maybe even opportunities pop up on this quantum frontier?
What does it all mean for digital trust, for secure communication, when we have this kind of computing power on the horizon?
Definitely food for thought.
Indeed. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into post-quantum cryptography. If you found this useful, please do like and subscribe to Fact Fragment. We'll bring you more deep dives into the tech shaping our world. Stay tuned for our next episode.